Disney an evil corporation filled with money-hungry, greedy savages? Or are they just getting old and senile? Here's a hint. It can be both. Welcome to the channel where I talk and you listen. I'm your host, Anonymous, and today we are going to be talking about the one, the only Disney. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be just talking about Disney. We're going to be talking about some of the new and up-and-coming films that are coming up from Disney, but then we're also going to be talking about what is the problem that Disney is having in current society. So, let's get into it. Okay, first up, it looks like Disney is finally moving away from their live-action losing streak, slowly but surely, stealthily leaving that behind. And it seems like they've moved back towards the anthropomorphic style, where they have the characters who are just animals, like Hopper, and then they also have Zootopia 2 coming out, and I'm assuming that we've talked somewhat about Toy Story 5, and I don't know where that's gonna land, but hopefully there won't be any more.
Oh hell no! That's hell no!
Because I know they just had that live-action Scar movie where they just made up some random backstory.
Mufasa, please forgive me.
Oh God, just terrible. I'm so tired of Disney making movies where the villain needs a redemption arc. Me personally, I don't think that every hero needs to have a reason to be evil. I mean, some people are just bad. Like, there's no reason that they're bad. They're just bad on purpose because they want to be, right? Some people are just like that. And so, I feel like they're trying to create new stories by taking old stories and changing the lore behind it, but I mean, do we need that? You know, are you guys just completely out of ideas? Is that why Pixar is doing the thing now where they try to diversify their movies by giving a one-off creator from their, not to be rude to the people who are making these movies, by the way, but they give this person a chance to write their own story and make a movie out of it, like they did Elio, like they did Turning Red. It seems to me that they have lost their way. They have so much money, and yet they still decide to continue to go back to what made them popular in the first place rather than trying to create a new original story. Just take some of that crazy, dark, inspiring lore that you got, like the Little Mermaid, from all those mythological stories that you used as reference to make the movies that you've made. Why not just try to do that again? You know what I want to see personally from Disney? This is exactly what I want to see. First off, I want to say how I got the idea. The idea itself is to have a crossover with some of the Disney princesses, you know, like Elsa, Anna, Tiana, Moana. There's a lot of nanas. Yeah, but take some of those characters and have them have their own stories that connect to another. And I know that some of them are like in their own timeline or in their own, like, yeah, their own time in history. But I think that somewhere I heard that all the stories were connected somehow, some way. But do the same thing that they did in, damn it, what's that movie? What's that movie with the guy who got the big hands? Fix It Ralph. Ralph Fix It. What's it called? No, Wreck-It Ralph. That's what it's called, yeah. Do that where they bring the Disney princesses together, but they do it in a way that kind of is more serious, right? Like, now here's where I got the idea. I was watching the Snow White movie. Yeah, everyone hates that movie. Me personally, let me just branch off from what I was about to say, and I'll come back around to that in a second. Now here is where we are. Snow White, the live action adaptation. I think that before the adaptation released, let's put this down, but I'll bring it back up just in case you guys are lost. So we're here. We came from over here. All right. Just making sure y'all are with me. So I think that when I was watching the live adaptation of Snow White, I actually enjoyed it. Oh my God, kill me! Kill that son of a bitch! Now here's why. Because the original Snow White felt very bland. She didn't have much character. So having the new Snow White bring something new to the table, bring anything to the table really, was a success in my book. Like, she felt a little zesty. You know, she gave her a little bit of oomph to the usual just vanilla Snow White. I feel like Snow White just doesn't have a character, right? Her character is like she's asleep. Okay, so yeah, we're here, right? That's where I got the idea. Not the worst Disney movie ever created, but definitely nowhere near the top. Okay, now back over here. Oh God, back over here where we were originally. The topic of this whole entire video, right? So, while I was watching the film, there was a scene that showed Snow White in like a band of thieves, right? And there was this main guy from the movie. I can't remember his name. He was just like a thief. He was wearing green and he reminded me of Robin Hood. Now, I'm watching the movie, mind you, and I'm thinking like, this guy is Robin Hood, right? Of course he's not Robin Hood, but he is Robin and bringing it back to the hood. Hold on, my mouth is so dry, my God. There's nothing in my cup. So thirsty. So again, the whole time I was thinking that this guy could be Robin Hood. And not that he was Robin Hood, but that he should have been Robin Hood, because that would have crossed over two stories that would have brought two stories that would collide and become something brand new. So I'm sitting here like, yo, this movie is so much better now when you think of it like that. It's like this guy's Robin Hood and this girl is Snow White, and they've come together to fuse to make some sort of like multiverse universal story, which is insane. And that, my friends, is what Disney should be on. Everybody else is already on board. We're about to get a Sonic universe. Well, we already have one. They have Sonic, they have Tails, they have Knuckles, they have Shadow. Who else are they gonna put in those movies? Let's talk about that. Just put Mario and Sonic together, you know, have a crossover movie, then create the Smash Bros movie. Oh my God, I'm way off track. So let's get back to the facts. The facts are that the live action Disney movies suck ass, but they also have characters that may come together at some point. And not that they will come together at some point, but that they should come together at some point. Because I'm telling you right now, if we have freaking who would be a good combination to see? Fucking Cinderella and Snow White. Oh God, no, that'd be terrible. Mulan and Ariel. How would their paths collide? That's crazy. Let's think about this. What if Mulan is like going to war, fighting people over the seas, right? And then somewhere along the lines, they are losing and they have to like flee the scene and they get lost in the Pacific Ocean or wherever they are located currently on the map while they're in the water, right? And so then they like crash into a freaking rock. I'm making this sound terrible. The story is fine, but I'm making it sound like Mulan's gonna die. So maybe she will. No, she won't die. I'm just kidding. So they crash and some people fall overboard, but then the mermaids pick them up and put them back on the ship or put them on land. How crazy would that be that they ended up shipwrecked on the island where Ariel was from? And then the story just branches out from there. That would be crazy. They just need to start doing crossovers. I'm telling you right now, that would be sick. Again, everybody is already doing it. Who did I say before? Sonic. Who else is doing that? Marvel. Who else is doing that? DC. Now I know that's their thing specifically, but if Disney got on board, oh my god, that would bring in not only new fans, but bring back the old fans, because people seem to hate Disney as the way it is today. Now we know that everyone is pretty much feeling the nostalgia aspect, because everything used to be 2D animated and now everything is pretty much either live action or 3D animated, right? So some people may adapt to the new style of animation, be like, yeah, you know what, the 3D is not as bad as I thought it would be, right? It's kind of fire. It makes everything look really cartoony, and that's the problem with a lot of people online today. They feel that the new Disney is a little bit too cartoony, like the art style for Turning Red, the art style for Elio, and whatever other movies also look the same like that. Their new art style that fans seem to be so upset with. I think that maybe, just maybe, they might be trying to find a way to change it. And the reason I say that is because of the movies that are coming out right now. They're doing the animal movies again. So, maybe animals, toys, whatever, all the objects. And so maybe they're finding out what their new style is going to be now. No, I could be wrong. Maybe they're just like not listening to the fans at all and doing exactly what they've been doing for like the last 5 or 6 years, right? Maybe that's what they're doing. Who knows? They have all the money in the world. Do they really need to listen to us anymore? No. I think we've just jumped straight into the problems with Disney. Now let's talk about Elio real quick. That movie was a walking disaster. Most people hated that movie. I found the movie not terrible, but not great. I felt like it's definitely a mix of the things that we've been told over the course of the last year or so, where the creator, the writer left the movie, and then the rest of the studio had to like chop it up and like pick the parts that they wanted to keep in the movie, and then they wanted to change a whole bunch of stuff. And so Elio definitely felt like that. It felt like it was a loaf of bread that had been chopped up into pieces and then like threw out a bunch of the necessary compartments that made the bread whole, right? You know what I'm saying? Terrible analogy? Whatever. So, yes, that movie definitely felt choppy. But it also, in a way, was not that bad. Like, I watched the movie, and I watched it the whole way through, and I didn't even go, more than once. That's a lie. I did it at least twice. Yeah, I think that Elio was supposed to have parents or something like that, and then they changed it. He didn't have parents. I also think that he was supposed to be like on the spectrum, maybe, or he was supposed to be LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? One of those things, and they took out all that stuff from the movie. Now, here's just my take on this, right? Oh, I feel like I'm gonna get so much grief for this. I do feel like any way that you need to separate these two components. The components where we're talking about the generalization of what a character is versus the overarching idea of what a character should be. Now, let me just explain what I mean by that. The generalization of what a character is supposed to be is based off of their gender and the things that they're into, their traits, and the overarching idea is to make it so that the character's main focus is on their sexuality. And I feel as though that is wrong. We do this so much in media today that we need to focus so heavily on what the sexuality of a character is versus just applying some cool traits and for the character, some cool hobbies for the character to enjoy throughout the course of the movie. I don't feel as though we need to add that component to the films in a very headfirst, like this is the first thing you see when you look at the character. No, I don't feel like we need to do all, and this is just my opinion, I don't feel like we need to do all of that. Now, while the character can be gay or whatever they want to be, I feel like that should not be the main focus of what makes the character what they are. With that being said, I am so thirsty. My mouth is so dry. My God. Yeah, so the problem with Disney is that they've continued to make these one-off movies with people who have their own personal identity put into these characters, and only certain people can relate to that rather than like everyone else, rather than the majority of the world. And while those movies have their place, we also need to give the fans what they want, which is just like Invincibles or something. Invincibles 3, Toy Story 5, the multiverse. Give us Mulan and Ariel. Give us Tiana and Brave. I don't know the girl's name from that movie. Or give us Moana and Lilo and Stitch. I don't know. That'd be great. Give us multiple stories that collide with one another, and I'll be happy. That's really all that I'm looking for. A huge, serious version of Disney that doesn't quite exist yet, but can exist in a parallel universe. Okay guys, I have talked way too much. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe. I see you new guys coming in. I see y'all peeking. Y'all are checking out the channel. I know you like it, so you might as well subscribe and let me know what your thoughts are on Disney today, what you feel as though are their issues, what you feel as though they could work on or expand upon. And please, if you think that my multiverse idea is a great one, please let me know down in the comments section below, guys. I am looking for the comments. I want to respond. I want to talk to you guys online and see what you think about the topics that I'm into as well. Alright guys, be nice to each other out there and show your boys some love. Peace.